What is up, guys? We're back to another video, and I'm back inside the garage. I hate filming in here because of how echoey it is in here, but it's supposed to be storming really bad tonight, so we had to pull the truck inside, well, because it's supposed to storm, and both my parents' cars have full coverage insurance, but this does not, so we're kind of in a predicament there. It's either, this possibly gets destroyed because it's supposed to have like golf ball sized hail tonight, and I don't want this sitting outside because, again, it doesn't have full coverage. If it gets damaged, I'm kind of screwed. But anyway, today's video is going to be interesting, but first I want to give a shout out to a couple of friends of mine from the Adamson Mafia meet. I haven't captured them on film, but their names are Andrew and Sebastian. They started their own YouTube channel, Pavage Performance. I'll be leaving a little thing in the outro for them. Go check them out. They are really cool guys, and they're doing their own YouTube channel. It's going to be a mixture of different kinds of videos, vlogs, car builds, whatever they have in the shop, going to Adamson Mafia, maybe even running to me a few times, I don't know. And I'll tell you right now that you should expect some collabs with them in the future. I don't know how long from now, but there will be some, I can tell you that much. Because depending on what we do, I may either go to them or the other mechanic that my parents trust. I really don't know the whole thing, what's going on with that yet. But anyway, that brings me into today's video. That's an interesting story. So, phase one of our game plan, as you all remember, was to mess with the vacuum lines and the spark plugs and the wires to make sure they were all okay. So, this weekend, me and my dad came out here, popped the hood, and we looked around for what could possibly be going on here. Spark plug wires and spark plugs checked out okay. According to him, there was no cracks in any of them. The wires were fine. Vacuum lines, all were still having a vacuum, and he sprayed them all with Windex and none of them bubbled up. He also checked for leaks from the air intake, which also passed, surprisingly. So there you go, that's kind of that. Phase one was a complete failure, I guess you could say, because my dad goes, okay, clear the code. If it comes back, we move on. So clear the code, it's gone. It goes, the light is off for approximately yesterday and today. Where I drove it, well, actually not even completely today, it's back on now, obviously, as I'm saying in the title, it says it came back. I drove it to school, it was fine, drove it to the high school, and as I pulled in, put it in park, and lights back on. So, obviously that means phase one failed. That means what's next at phase two? The cam sensors and the PCV and EGR. The cam sensors will be the first go-to. If the cam sensors are not the fix, we'll move on to the EGR and PCV valve. If those don't fix it, we'll move on to phase three, which is our ignition coil. And basically, if that fails, we're kind of stuck. It's either, like I've said in the last video, new 4.0 or new car, or, like I'm gonna mention later, this really cool idea I had. So obviously at that point, we're kind of stuck, and we're kind of stuck now because we don't know what's wrong, obviously. I actually did get my tuner to actually give me the information on the code, and it did confirm what the AutoZone people told me, that it was a multi-cylinder misfire, not a single piston. So it is multiple pistons in the engine. The guys at AutoZone told me it was all 6. This one didn't give me specifics. I don't know what to do from there. That's kind of that. I didn't get the startup code this time. I only got the random misfire code. So I guess that's kind of a success, maybe. It probably is going to throw that code eventually. But going from there, we really don't know what's going to happen. And the car I was looking at originally sold, so I'm kind of a little upset about that. That was my original replacement idea. That was met with some love and some hate through some of the people I've talked to about it. Since it's not going to happen, obviously I'm just going to bring it up. It was a 2009 Honda Accord V6. Would have been a rather interesting build. It wasn't automatic. I know, Crimea River. I wanted a stick shift, but if I can't get a good deal on a stick shift car that has moderately good miles and is, I want something kind of loaded, not something terribly loaded, but something that's nice. It's kind of difficult to find something in the middle ground. So that brings me to my idea. So as I said already in the video, getting a new engine is there, as well as getting a new car is there. And a lot of people will say it's going to be easier to finance a new car than just to put a new motor in this, because unlike car dealerships, mechanics don't do payments. They don't finance stuff. So I'd have to say, I say me and my parents, I guess you could say, both of us will have to save up a little bit to get it done. My parents, as you all know, have been a huge help to this build, whether it be gifting me these wheels for my graduation gift, or, you know, just helping me along the way find the right quality parts when I had my own money. So my idea is to throw a semi-race motor in here. So we'll be using the Super 6 Stage 3 heads and cams, as well as the ARP head studs they sell. We'd have the block inspected, of course. I'm not planning on buying their short block because it is $6 grand, and for $6 grand, I could get a pretty good car. And I just don't think it'd be worth it to, you know, pay that $6 grand and put it into a high mileage truck. When for $6 grand, I could get something like a G35 or 350Z, G37 even, if it's wrecked, and go from there. So, for the same price of putting a new motor in, I can have a semi-race engine. So that's kind of the idea I have. So that's that. That's kind of my plan for right now. I don't really have anything set in stone just yet because, like I said, you can go through the rest of these motions to save the stock engine. If the stock engine's screwed, then we'll go to one of those two options. My parents aren't entirely on board with the race engine like they are the new car, or just putting another 4.0 in this. So why don't you go from there? We'll see what happens. But anyway, guys, thank you guys again for tuning into this really short video. I usually don't film videos as short, but I've had memory issues with my phone again, and my GoPro doesn't have a mic. Thank you guys again. See you guys next video.